Hey Brandon. So a while back, I used to think that I would be like super happy in the day of wrath or the day of the Lord. Like I would like think about like the Muslim dogs that killed the persecuted Christians and like just evil people, and I'm like I can't wait to see them get killed or whatever.
Yeah.
But as I walk longer with the Lord, like my view has changed to like sadness on that day. I think, but why? Why can't a true Christian be? Why are Christians not going to be happy on that day, the day of the Lord?
Well, because, we talk about the fact that the Lord, scripturally speaking, doesn't desire that anyone should perish, right?
Yeah.
And we take a really selfish view of humanity, and we try to kind of put people into these different silos where it's like, okay, I'm saved, I'm good to go, and the people that are in the same belief system as me, we're worth more, we're more valuable because we found the truth, and anybody that disagrees with us or anybody that comes against us or anybody that doesn't love God, they're worth less, their value is inherently less. And God says we are all created, humanity is all created in the image of the Lord, and so he doesn't desire that anybody should perish, and he has a genuine love and concern for those people, in that he doesn't want to destroy them. Right? He says that he's going to destroy them. We see all over Scripture that if you do decide to harden your heart and reject the Lord, that unfortunately the end result of your decisions are going to be that destruction, and that's something that he's going to do because of his justice and his holiness and his righteousness. It's part of who he is. But there's also this level of concern and care. And Amos actually writes, the Lord gives Amos a concern that he shares with the people. And in Amos chapter 5, verse 18, he says, "What sorrow awaits you who say, if only the day of YEHOVAH were here. You have no idea what you are wishing for. That day is going to bring darkness and not light. In that day you will be like a man who runs from a lion only to meet a bear. Escaping from the bear, he leans his hand against a wall in his house and he's bitten by a snake. Yes, the day of the Lord will be dark and hopeless, without a ray of joy or hope."
Wow, that's pretty harsh, huh? Like you think about what he said.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, as a Christian, we have a hope and an assurance that when Christ returns, it's going to be a good thing for us. However, Isaiah talks about, we just studied this in our Monday Bible studies, Isaiah says, we're going to go through the resurrection, we're going to be resurrected together, we're going to see Christ, but then the Lord's going to pour out his wrath, and that's something that as Christians we're going to witness. That's not going to be something that we're going to be going through and cheering, enjoying, and be joyful about, because it's destruction. It's the destruction of people who are wicked that the Lord wanted to turn to him.
And like you said in your last video, some of those people are going to be family members, friends that you love, like people that I will die for now. And love, like it's going to be sad because they're the one that chose it.
Yeah, and it's one of those pills that you have to swallow that kind of forces spiritual maturity in kind of realizing that we need to have that same outlook, right? We see Christ on the cross praying that the people who are killing him and persecuting him, that the Lord would forgive them because they didn't know what they were doing. And there's an ignorance that you start to see when you spiritually develop that the people have. They're not intentionally rejecting the Lord. They don't understand and they don't know. And they're like little kids that are impulsive. And you look at it with a little bit more compassion and a little bit more understanding, and it brings more sorrow to your perspective of these people that are going to be destroyed because they don't know what they're doing.
So you're telling me that Christ even loves radical Islamist people?
Christ loves everybody. And
what about pedophiles?
Christ loves anybody that is a human being.
Wow.
Right? There's no determining factor where it says God doesn't love this person. Even if they've rejected him, right? He still shows mercy in the justice that he's going to pour out and the judgment that he's going to pour out. And that's maybe a topic for another video. But there's people who claim to be Christians today who are out there preaching the message that when God destroys the wicked, there's going to be celebration, there's going to be happiness, we're all going to be shouting for joy. That's not in Scripture. In Scripture, we see that when that final pen writes that last line, so to speak, in Revelation, there's silence in heaven for 30 minutes, for half an hour, because of the gravity of what has just taken place and the fact that humanity can't go back. Once that final hammer drops, you don't have the opportunity to go back. And so there's going to be a lot of wicked people who are going to find themselves in destruction, and we're going to be, unfortunately, we're going to witness that. But I think it's something that's important to understand because that contextualizes how great it is to be on the side of grace and the side of what Christ is going to do to provide us protection through, or salvation through, that wrath that's going to be poured out.